journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's Jackie Bertoni. It's June 14th. Actually, I'm out of my studio, and I'm in the studio of Intertalk Radio here in San Diego, Mira Mesa, as they call it. And I was surprised. We had a quick interview coming up with Mr. Al DiMiola, but he's stuck on the 163. For people that don't know that out there, welcome to California. Ultimately surprised to be able to get it set down and talk to a good friend of mine, an amazing vocalist, saxophonist, man who's been playing with one of my favorite groups called East Bay Soul. He's one of my musical compadres, as I say in this business. Please, everybody with open ears and open arms, please welcome my guest to Jackie's Groove, Mr. Darryl Walker. Darryl, welcome to Jackie's Groove.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing here?
You know what, man? We're all just kind of like, getting off the freeway and trying to make the best that we can and keep our minds together here.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. Being so close for me, I'm not far from here, so this is really convenient.
But the bottom line is, we're here to promote. That's the whole thing you hear about Jackie's Groove. And again, this is Jackie Bertoni. I'm getting myself undiscombobulated, if that's such a word. And I'm sitting here with my bro, man. Last time I was able to share the stage with you was at Michael Paulo's event called the Temecula Wine and Jazz Festival up at Lake Skinner. You remember that, of course.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sitting backstage, and I'm having a great time. And as I'm having a mouthful of M&Ms, I'm relaxing. I'm talking to a bunch of luminaries, my Wilfredo Reyes Jr. and Chris Carter and so on. And then I hear this tenor voice screaming in the background of an old tune. And I just kind of interrupted everybody, and I came back and didn't realize the fact that it was Mr. Walker singing. And do you remember a tune that you were singing, the old standard? Was it? It wasn't Backstabbers. I think it was Backstabbers, wasn't it?
It was probably, at that point, it would have been... I'm trying to think. He was either Let's Stay Together or
Circles.
Going in Circles.
There you go.
Yeah,
going
man.
And I got to tell you, it was just. I was rude to everybody. I just kind of walked away from the conversation here. So when I hear your music, I got to go to where it's at. So, yeah, man. I'm sorry that Michael didn't have this. Didn't have the show. I think it was this year and last year. I think he passed on it. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, I'm sure it's financial situations. But you know what? We got to keep music going. We got to keep music alive. So with that little push, Darryl, let's talk about what's going on with you in your life, brother. Let's talk about what you're doing with East Bay Soul, and we'll talk about what you're doing on your own to progress and make the world more familiar with Darryl Fitzgerald Walker.
Yeah, indeed. Right now, we're gearing up to do a few more East Coast things. I think we have Yoshi's coming up. Greg and Andrea are working hard to get more dates on the calendar. And the last one we did up in Modesto at the Luca Winery was a successful event. Really nice. Great group of people came out to check us out. And we kicked off the series. They're going to start trying to do this 3 to 4 times a year, I believe. And if they do it the way they did when we were there, it'll be successful.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how all the wineries now are finally starting to jump on the bandwagon. Down here in Temecula, we have the Thornton Jazz Series. And I don't know how many years it is, but it'll be my 3rd year attending. And just have the greatest lineup. The lineups are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. In fact, even at Wilson Creek Winery, they just hosted Jennifer Nettles on Sunday. In fact, we were going to do a nice interview from there, but because of the circumstances, because it was just too tight to get a hold of everybody at one time, we did a pass on that. So we're going to pick that up at a later date. And does Greg have anything, Greg Adams? Let me refresh that everybody out there who's not familiar with East Bay Soul. If you're not, you need to crawl out from under that rock you're living under. East Bay Soul is a consortium of the yo-cats in the industry itself, headed up by my dear friend, the former horn arranger from Tower Power, Greg Adams, and also his partner in crime, former Tower Power trumpet player by the name of Mr. Lee Thornburg, or Thorny as we call him. So with that, it's a big band. East Bay Soul, by the time you guys are done, you must have to mortgage the house to pay you guys to get out of there, But,
there's 10 of us.
Yeah,
this is a big group.
And I love it, man, because there's so many, such a great vibe. There's I don't want to say a revolving drum chair. A good friend of mine, Evan Stone, was playing drums for you guys for a while. And then Herman Matthews is, I think Herman's back on that gig now?
Yeah, Herman's it's Herman's chair, and as Herman has to do other things, they bring in a couple of other guys, depending on who's available, of course. But it is Herman's chair, and he thoroughly enjoys the whole experience. He's a unique drummer. He doesn't use a lot of stuff. I think I appreciate that most about him.
Yeah, man.
He plays a huge bass drum.
Have you felt his drumsticks?
Yeah, they're like baseball bats.
Yeah, we always, I have as a percussionist, I have my own drumstick line for my timbales, and for people out there, the drummers, they're like a 7A. They're real mellow, they're real easy. So every time I go to a gig, I always trade with the drummers or percussionists. So I give. Last time I saw Herman, he was playing with Tower of Power. It was last week with Tower at Thornton Winery. And I give him my pair of sticks, and I'm real proud of him and everything else. And then he reaches out and brings me these 2 tree trunks that if they said Louisville Slugger on the side of it, would have made more sense. But he's an amazing player. He's got that whole vibe about it, like a commando setup. Less is more.
Yes.
But he plays the hell out of what he's got up on stage. And,
right.
And then also on percussion, a brother that I'm not overly don't know too long, but he's a great guy, Johnny Sandoval. Great player, man, all the way around. And do you want to go ahead and feed into the rest of the band members so we can give them a shout out?
Oh, absolutely. On bass is Dwayne Smitty Smith. He's the bassist. We also have Giovanni Collier. We sometimes use Dale Atkins. Those are the 3 main guys that you'll see. On guitar is Keita Matsuno, which is an LA guy that's an amazing guitar player. We have then Johnny Sandoval on percussion, Latin percussion.
Right.
We already talked about the drum chair. There's on the horn line. There's Johnny Beaumont, baritone, flute. What does he play? Is he flute, alto, tenor, baritone?
Right.
And then next to him is Greg Vale, Orange County guy, an amazing artist. I think he's one of the finest saxophone players around.
Actually, I would say
I have to say that.
Yeah, Greg's definitely one of the unsung heroes out there. I played many years with Greg. A lot of the stuff at the Newport Beach, not the big jazz festival. We used to play at the Newport, the Marriott upstairs, and that's in the Sky Lounge. You remember that?
That's right.
And that's when Darryl, I'm going to call you out on this. When Darryl had that Richard Marx hairdo. I mean, the man had the best hair in the world, and I don't know what took longer, the sound check or to get Greg get that hair flowing up there, man. So, Greg, we'll talk about that later. And so go on now. And also, who's that tall, skinny guy playing trumpet?
And playing trumpet, that's Mr. Lee Thornburg. There's also Sean Billings, who's on whenever Lee is out of town and can't be with us. Every now and then we've had the good fortune of having one of the most recorded trumpet players in the world. Oh my goodness, his name escapes me at the moment. I'll get back to that. I'll come back to that. Then Greg, of course, flugelhorn, trumpet, and then I do sax when I'm not singing, so I'm playing tenor as a 5th voice in all the chords. And it's an amazing. Oh, Chuck Finley. That's what I was trying to think of. Chuck Finley, who is an amazing guy.
We also want to say to Mr. Greg Adams, we want to say probably one of the numbers you don't want to hear about in the near future is 4. Okay, so okay.
Oh no,
we'll talk about that. Yeah, Greg, God bless you, brother. In fact, I just talked to Greg on the way up here, stuck in traffic. Greg is going to be on my show tomorrow on Jackie's Groove at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be talking about his years with Tower of Power, the Horn Arranger, and anecdotes that you're not going to be able to read about in the local or even worldwide rags. And we're going to get down and funky. We're going to find out what motivated him as one of the original founding members of the East Bay, there's a term, soul group, Tower of Power. Mm-hmm. And then back to Mr. Walker here. So, Darryl, you guys just came back from Northern California. Tell me about that. Tell me about the wineries up there as opposed to what they were down here and how the crowds were.
I'll say that this was an intimate crowd because this was their first time hosting an event like this at the Luca Winery. And I will say they have a great product. Not every winery makes the best wine. I have to say that. But this one, they have a good winemaker, and his family has been in this business for a long time. And they really want to bring not just jazz. They're interested in bringing a wide variety of entertainment to their winery, and I was really surprised to hear them make that announcement that they were going to have variety instead of just one thing all the time. And it would be interesting because what we see usually happening on these circuits where you have the cruises and the winery thing, it's usually the same people, the same group of musicians, meaning not just one band, but the same core, say, of acts.
Right.
Will be showing up at these events year after year. And I've been hearing feedback from people that attend these events, and they're getting a little tired of that because they've seen other people in smaller venues and other places, and they wonder, why aren't they bringing some of these other... There's so many good artists out there, and yet we keep getting the same thing. I'm not going to mention any names.
Right.
They're getting tired of it. And all I say when I'm confronted with the question of why is I really don't know. I'm not the one to ask. You'd have to talk to promoters.
It's not my job.
No, not my job. I just sing and play.
How big of a venue? What's the capacity at this venue?
They could probably, on a good day, they could probably get about 400 people in there in this particular area that they had the thing. Which is pretty good considering it's not a huge winery, but they have the space to do it, and they do a good job with it.
Darryl, I'm going to interrupt you here, but we're going to be segueing out of segment number 1 and going into 2. Everybody, please welcome back the next segment, my guest, in-studio guest, actually in the Intertalk radio studio, Mr. Darryl Fitzgerald Walker. This is Jackie Bertoni. You're tuned into Jackie's Groove. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs. Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back. This is Jackie Bertoni. You're tuned in to Jackie's Groove on the Intertalk Radio Network. Hey, guys, it is a beautiful off-broadcast, fun broadcast. I'm in the studios of Intertalk Radio, WSRadio.com. I'm out of my source, out of my element, so I'm going to do the best. But you know what that said? That song is by my in-studio guest, the beautiful, soulful tenor voice of Mr. Darryl Fitzgerald Walker. Darryl, what's the genesis of that tune? Share with us, man.
Genesis of that tune, here we are. It's about a couple of people, you know, a guy and a girl who are going through difficulty in their relationship, and then they find a way to work through it. It's a common thing that everyone can relate to. We've all had those tough spots in a relationship, and we just decided to put it to a nice, soulful, funky groove, and that is it right there.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. Just like I've said before, even with my guest yesterday, Mr. Tony Lindsay, even though these interviews are during the daytime, music like that makes you want to kind of curl up with your girl in front of a fireplace. And I'm drinking a coffee drink right now, and I saw it curdling. So it's sexy, man, beyond belief. Talk to me about what inspires you, Darryl, when you sit down behind the computer or with a pen in your hand. Are you playing this by mouth? Are you playing it by keys? Are you writing the melody? Are you writing the harp? What are you doing? How do you do it together?
It's funny because it happens differently every time. Usually it's I'm either with the horn in my office, I get the horn out, start coming up with a melody, or lyrics start to come to mind. And the lyrics then are the basis. Sometimes it's the melody that starts it off or the lyrics. It just depends on what the mood is, But usually what I'm doing is there's a certain feeling that I'm having or thinking about, and that gets the thing going. Then I start jotting down ideas, blocking things out, and then I'll stop. I don't continue until I get inspired again, because if I just write just for the sake of writing, it doesn't turn out very well.
On that last song, was it written for somebody? Do you want to give somebody props for that, or is that just?
No, actually, Raul Mesa, my songwriting partner, who's a Whittier guy. He and I
was born and raised in Whittier.
See?
There you go. Don't hold that against me.
No, his studio is amazing. We go in there and do a lot of our creations in there. He had this track. It was not complete at the time, and I heard it, and I said, okay, I have an idea for a melody for that, and the words are coming to me. So I started to write them down at the studio, and then I took them home because the track really was so nice that it happened within, I would say, not even an hour. It was done.
Darryl, was the players on that track live, or is that a program?
Those are live players.
God bless.
Yeah, man.
You remember that, people? Now the word is called live players, as opposed to dead players. But the
skilled musicians,
skilled brothers, man. As I said, guys, we're not doing this for our health, man. We're doing this for our passion. And I mean, I never understood that whole vibe about a drum, programming drums and so on. You're still having to hire somebody to program those drums, and there's nothing, and I don't want to hear about time constraints or this, that, and the other. Man, if it's meant for the music, you make it for the music. You make amends, man. You make it happen. And that's the thing, that things are coming back slowly but surely, but live music prevails, and it's only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as long as these old guys like you and me keep pushing it out there, man. I mean, it was becoming a lost art, but I think the music business is starting to slowly turn around again. What about you? Do you feel about that at all?
There is a resurgence, and I think it's mostly because people are more influenced by the live element. What I've noticed, I'll go into a room with a group, and if they're doing instrumental stuff in this particular room, that's good. Everyone's cool. They like having that. But then when someone starts singing, then everyone all of a sudden pays more attention than they were before.
Right, absolutely.
And it's because of that connection, the spiritual human element is what it is. That's what it is.
When you are penning your own music and you're in the studio, are you an easy cat producer to get along with, or do you have your thumbs on people?
No, I'm easy to deal with, and I'm one of those people that's really open to direction, because for instance, if you're working for someone else, if you're singing a song that they wrote and, they have all the ideas and whatever in their head, you have to be open, because otherwise you won't deliver what it is they need for that track. They have it in their head.
Right, absolutely.
They know what they need or what they want. So, it's incumbent on the person who's the featured person to be open to direction, to do it the way they need, as long as it's within their ability range. And then as far as me doing the producing or whatever, I'm not tough to get along with, because I like the vibe to be good. If people go in and they feel like they're under the screws, A, they're not going to do their best work. B, they're going to be stressed out. And then the vibe that they leave with, they won't want to work with you again.
Yeah, because when I'm in the studio with notables, and not going to be name dropping, but I'll get calls from the producer, production, and saying that so-and-so wants to come and sit in on the session. Do you mind? Well, inside my mind, I'm going, yeah, I mind, but, they're writing the check, so I guess I have to, I have to deal with that. It's kind of, I don't want to say awe-inspiring. It's actually nerve-wracking, to be, having somebody listen to. I mean, at my point in my career, I'm hired by producers because they know I'm going to give them what they're looking for. They're not going to have to sit there and tell me what they want.
Right.
But when that set, I'll just take a case in point with Brian Wilson. When, I've done so much work with this man, but when he wanted to come in and sit in on the session, it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking to say the least, because Brian is not a person who is overly animated when he's behind the board. He sits in an executive chair with his head down and his arms crossed, and the only time that he's breathing is when you're hitting something really good and he jumps up out of his chair and scares the living shit out of everybody. Like, I love it, man, it's burning, And so that's that whole vibe where, it's, someone asked me not too long ago, they go, do you miss the actual studio, meaning the fact of going into Ocean Way or the record plant or, Capitol.
Those great places.
I miss it for the first 5 minutes when I'm inside of it, because, it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of legacies, a lot of history that goes through these studios, but there's nothing better than being at my home studio, doing what I want to do. If I want to record there in my boxer shorts, okay, well, we'll talk about that. But the bottom line is, you're getting the same sound, at least I'm getting the same sound out of that area than having to do travel time and so on. And and I don't think that's ever going to change. I think the days of the big studios are going to be shortly numbered.
It's tough. You're talking about major overhead and cost and
bottom line
inconvenience and time. Things have to happen a little faster now than they used to. You got to have it in real time, man, to get it done.
But again, everything is pushed. But the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about the amount of money that costs for studio time, per hour,
right?
Engineers, producers, cartage, and so on, and it all makes sense that when you're doing this now. So, and believe me, when I do a major, act in my home studio, they pay for it. Not to the part about being greedy, but the fact is, I know what their outlay is.
Yeah, sure.
And if I'm going to help them, and again, if I don't want to travel, I have to travel. I'm not going to travel. So, enough about that. So, you're back in the studio. You're recording. You're behind that board. Are you one that takes suggestions from the artists that you're tracking? And let me qualify. When people are so used to seeing on TV where there's a whole band inside the studio and they're all playing and they're all kind of gelling together, that doesn't happen.
Not very often.
No, I mean, you go and Darryl, when he goes in, and Darryl's going to tell you, hey, Darryl, tell the process in this last minute. Who records first when you walk in the studio? What's on tape for you?
It's a rhythm section, and if there are any horns involved, they would be incorporated. But it's very, very sparse. But you hear drums, keys, bass, guitar. That's pretty much all that's there, and maybe a horn part or two.
But are the horns really? Is there such a thing as like a scratch track for horns at all?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I see that's weird to me because I just thought horns as percussion. I'm the last cat that goes in.
They usually are. But the way I like to do it, sometimes I'll bring in like a trumpet or some accompanying complementary instrument to a sax if I'm doing a sax thing. If it's a vocal thing, all that will be there is keys, bass, and drums.
Very cool. So, talk about keys, bass, and drums. We're going to pick that up on the third segment with Mr. Darryl Fitzgerald Walker. I'm going to call you just Darryl Walker.
All right.
Yeah, you dig? And we're going to be stepping out of segment number 2, going into number 3. I'm going to get a little more deep into this man's career, and then we're going to talk about everything, Darryl, where you can stock him, where you can get his products at, and so on. So, guys, don't go anywhere. This is Jackie Bertoni. You're tuned into Jackie's Groove from the Intertalk Radio studios in Mira Mesa, San Diego, California. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these short messages. You dig?
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs. Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.